This is awesome. See, when I say I'm terrible, but I love it, I'm having a great time. Gussy's on fish 3, and we're on minute 2. Look at it.
We got a walleye this time.
I loosened the pickle jar for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice walleye.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Keep waiting for someone to come offer me a flight. I don't know what it is about us Canadians, but for some reason, we want to put giant things along the highways. If you've driven near Kingston, Ontario, in Colborne, you'll have seen the Big Apple. If you've driven through Sudbury, you'll have seen the Big Nickel. If you've driven through Wawa, the town so nice they named it twice, you'll see the Big Goose. And if you come here to Kenora, you'll see old Husky the Muskie. 12 meters or 40 feet tall. This is actually the sequel, and if you're keeping score at home, I spell that S-E-A-quel. Because first, 1967, they unveiled to celebrate the centennial of Canada, but 1995, I guess old Husky was a little rusty, and they unveiled this one, and it's been here standing guard over Kenora Bay proudly since then. And if you're trying to find it yourself and you're not sure where, well, behind it, there is what's called the Goodwill Geyser that seems to go on and off, at least when we're trying to film it. But we're gonna stick around till it goes back. But it's just on the opposite side of Kenora Bay, standing guard over the largest community of Lake of the Woods. Kenora is the largest city in this part of the province, but it's not massive. The lake, on the other hand, is very much so. There are so many islands that if you visited 3 per day, every day, for 365 days per year, it would take you 13 years to visit them all. You add up all those 14,500 islands and the mainland, and the total shoreline is longer than the equator. But because there are so many islands, you can get lost of how big this really is. But every year, you get a sense of it in early August, when one of the most unique freshwater sailing regattas in North America takes over these waters. The Lake of the Woods International Sailing Association, or LOISA, has hosted a week-long regatta every year since 1966. Things have changed since those early days, a full year before Husky the Muskie's debut, but the theme has remained the same. Community and sailing fun for all ages. These aren't small sailboats either. You're more likely to see boats of this size on the Great Lakes than on small cottage lakes. Of course, this is not a small cottage lake. The northern and eastern stretches of Lake of the Woods are a seemingly endless archipelago of islands, but the southwestern stretch is wide open. And this is where you get the Manitoba and Minnesota borders meeting with Ontario. And you find one of the most unique flukes in North American geography. Even poorly detailed maps include this little jot upwards. This little area is known as the Northwest Angle. Due to confusion and inaccurate maps in Ben Franklin's day, it was considered part of America, and so it remains to this day. And this northernmost part of the contiguous United States is marked with something that will look awfully familiar to anyone who's been to Key West. But don't count on seeing this marker if you're boating out of Kenora. It's 35 nautical miles as the crow flies. You'd have to navigate those islands and cross the big open stretch to get there. And across the bay from old Husky the Muskie is this perfectly appropriate backdrop for this week's 60 Seconds of Safety, because you can see there is a float plane and a boat sharing a dock, which means once they untie, they're sharing the waterway. So how can you as a boater be safe around things like that? Well, the 3 key ideas here are look, listen, and act. Look at your charts. Are you going to be boating around something like a seaplane base? If you are, make sure you know all those appropriate rules. Also, just keep your eyes out if you see planes around. Listen for them, especially the older ones, and a lot of these float planes are older. They make a lot of noise. They don't sneak up on you generally. So listen for them and then act or react as the situation warrants. And I will say, this is not the time to get into a game of chicken over who is in the right with navigational rules. If a plane is coming into land, even if you're there first, and even if you think that you have the right of way, I'm a big believer in that old nautical tradition of I don't want to hit anything for any reason, so I will just move and deal with who was right afterwards. Because you never know. It could be that 1 in a million chance where the plane is dealing with an emergency and has to land and has no option. By the time you figure that out, now we're rushing. So let's all just be a little courteous, give a little extra space, look, listen, and if you need to, act if you see or hear one of those beauties.
In the crowd.
Kenora is the largest city in Ontario west of Thunder Bay. And being on the shores of a massive lake, it's always had ties to the water. And if you're fast at reading, you'll note that mural showed the original name, which wasn't Kenora. It was Rat Portage. I asked AI to create a welcoming street sign, and suffice it to say, the leadership made the right idea changing the name well over a century ago. Of course, Lake of the Woods is fantastic for fishing. I am a terrible angler, but I love it dearly. So, if I'm gonna have a shot at this, I'm gonna give myself the best option, and that is teaming up with a literal world champion of the sport. Lake of the Woods is famous for fishing. And if you want to know how to fish, don't ask me because all I do is wash lures. But my man here knows what's going on. Jeff Gustafson, hey buddy, how are you?
It's good. It's good. What's going on?
Oh, living the dream. Thanks for having us out. So, professional angler, Kenora native, and Canada's first ever Bassmaster Classic champion. So tell me, first of all, about this lake that you grew up on.
Yeah, so we're gonna start out. The wind's blowing from the east today, so that's just my disclaimer right off the bat. If we don't catch any fish, that's the
You can blame
why.
me. I'm bad luck. It's all me. It's not the wind.
No, we got out. We're gonna get a few hours here. We are gonna catch some fish, some walleye, bass, probably a pike or two, and have some fun. But yeah, 1 million acres, 14,000 islands. You can fish it all in a lifetime. So I don't get as many days out here as I did kind of growing up, but I mean, I would have hundreds of days a year out here, you know, in my late teens and 20s. And if you like doing stuff outdoors, I do. It's an amazing place to live.
And it's as far from overdeveloped as you can get. Kenora is the largest community, and it's a good-sized city, but it's not massive, and it's the only one of its size on this.
Yeah, there's a lot of summer places out here. We're 2 hours from Winnipeg, so I mean, a lot of Winnipeg people enjoy the lake.
And sorry to cut you off, but if you want to see a bald eagle ripping apart a fish on the shore right there.
Is. Looks like something pretty big, too.
Yeah. That's sort of some freakish timing. Like, I feel as though you put bait out for that.
Yeah.
Just cruise by here to talk about wildlife.
It's one of my pet eagles, you know. All right, we just pulled up to a good spot here. Let's drop some lines and see what's around.
All right. Check out the armory.
Like how I got into like the bass fishing stuff. We have good tournaments around here, and when I was 10 years old for Christmas, Santa got my dad and I an entry in the tournament, and for the following summer. So that was my start with it. That first year, the goal was kind of just to catch enough to catch one to weigh in, to get to walk across the stage, you know, and it took us a few years to get competitive, but you just, you know, the more you do it, the more you learn and get better. And then, yeah, it wasn't until my late 20s that I finally got to like head south of the border and like do it professionally, mostly just because it's expensive, you know. For the Elite Series, the entry fees are $5,000 per tournament. So it's $45,000 for the 9-event season. This is a big one, actually. And yeah, there's a lot to it, but I got, you know, I'm a regular guy, got some help sponsorship-wise, and was able to kind of go for it and did, you know, I've learned a lot of lessons the hard way, got my butt whipped plenty of times, but I've sort of done good enough to like stay in there and keep doing it. And then you fish enough of them and you hit every once in a while. Luckily, like last year, just sort of was the capper on, you know, however the rest of my career goes, it's all good, you know, like we won the biggest tournament in the sport, and you know, a lot of things just kind of went my way, and it worked out. But
what was the moment like when you're on stage and Mercer announces and you knew that you had done it? What did that feel like?
It was pretty relieving, because it's a long week, you know. The tournament was 3 days, but we'd started pre-practicing the weekend before, and there's a lot of media and a lot of events and just commitments that week. 9 to go. You know, all week, just like not sleeping that good. I knew I had found something special, and if it worked out, I'd have a chance to win. And the first 2 days were like the dream. Had the biggest catch each day, and the third day, like, things got really hard. I only ended up catching 2 keepers. Did not think I would even have a chance to still win, and it was just kind of a tough day for everybody, and had just barely enough to squeak it out.
A wire-to-wire win for Jeff Gustafson, your 2023 Academy Sports and Outdoors Bassmaster Classic champion, Jeff Gustafson. Give it in the crowd. Show them how you.
The Smeltnator and the minnow, that's sort of my, like, that's the bait I've won all the money on. So you got that to use too. But that's pretty much what we're gonna use, is just the Ned rig, it's called. Just a little do-nothing little worm on a jig head, and the minnow. I've been fishing some tournaments, so I got a bunch of different baits in here. But this is kind of all we're gonna need today to catch a bunch of fish. That's the Smeltnator jig. It was designed by Brian Gustafson, a friend of mine from Kenora, actually. And you know, you can see a real lifelike head on there. And then that's just a Z-Man jerk shad minnow, just a really good minnow imitator. And I'm gonna show you how it works here.
All things being equal, forget season, what's your favorite species to go for? Do you have one? Or are you like, I don't care, anything?
For me, bass are my favorite for sure, and like I have the competitive bug big time. So like I live for, like, we have a bunch of tournaments around here, you know, pretty well every weekend in the fall, and like I could fish all of them. I live for it, and just the like challenge of trying to find them and find new ways to catch them, and you know, figure things out that maybe other anglers are overlooking. Like, that's kind of how you win and get better. And I probably, of all the like other Elite Series pros that I fish against, I definitely feel like I probably do the most multi-species fishing. You know, I do a lot of ice fishing, you know, and then yeah, we got pike and muskie and lake trout, good crappie fishing. So kind of do it all, but bass is definitely like my favorite, and what I enjoy the most. Yeah, they're really pretty. They're you know, they're a lot prettier than the largemouths we catch down in the south. Like they're built better, and they have a lot more green and gold and black. Yeah, but see, they have a horizontal stripe. Yeah. The smallmouths will have like vertical bars, and then they're a lot more brown, and the mouths are a lot smaller too. We're gonna catch a smallmouth after this, and we'll show you what they look like side by side. Yeah, see, that one's got, you can sort of see the vertical bars on it.
As wonderful as all your gear is, you don't need this. Like,
yeah,
you can have fun with a kid with a hook and a worm and a bobber, just.
Yeah, no, like I've caught thousands of fish out of a 14-foot Lund with a 25 horse on it. I mean, I literally grew up fishing out of that. The boat doesn't catch the fish, and as big as this place is, you know, the Great Lakes have amazing fishing, Simcoe has amazing fishing, but like those places are big water and you can't hide. If the wind blows, it takes the fun out of those places real quick. But the other cool thing about Lake of the Woods is all the islands and bays, you can always find places to launch and hide out, and you can still go fishing no matter kind of what the weather is dealing you. They'll probably be following this guy. Just even just let it down to the bottom right here, and you'll, yeah, let it go down to the bottom now, and they'll find it. This one's more of a proper bass. There you go. Attaboy. Woo. Okay, I'm gonna get this one in. Just take your time. That'll be a big one too. I'm gonna get this one in, and then I'll help you. Okay. Whoa, come here, buddy. Okay, we got that one.
You bring it in?
Yeah, just take your time, yeah. Okay, flip that one in. That one we can, okay, there you go. We had rain, strong east wind when we started, but it turned out to be a nice day. Caught a few fish. Hopefully your hoodie's dry now. Don't leave stuff laying around in the boat, especially a fishing boat like this, or it'll be gone.
See, there's another tip. I did that on purpose to set you up so we had this teachable moment. I'm never gonna live this one down. Is it dry? It's getting pretty close. The drips have stopped. It's a nice little clothesline you got there.
It weighed about 48 pounds when I drug it in the boat before, but yeah, we've all been there. I've done it before, lost a lot of hats, but yeah, no, it was a fun day. Got to see a little bit of Lake of the Woods. Hopefully you can come back again for a little bit of a longer trip and show you some cool stuff around here.
Yeah, we'll do. We're pulling up to the ramp, so you got like 15, 20 seconds, elevator pitch. Someone that has never been to Lake of the Woods, why should they come and who should come?
If you like to fish, it's world class, and there's dozens and dozens of resorts around the lake, great places to stay, so they'll feed you, guides will take you out fishing, show you a good time. Get to do a Lake of the Woods walleye shore lunch. That's a standard issue, you know, at most of these places, but no, it's a special place in the summer months. We have fun in the winter too. If you like ice fishing, snowmobiling, outdoor activities, anything outdoors really, we can show you a good time around here. It's an awesome lake, and great people, all the different communities around the lake, and yeah, I'm proud to live around here for sure.
All right, well, thanks for sharing your home lake with me, buddy. Appreciate your day.
Give it in the crowd. Show them how you feel.
Hi, my name is Sergeant Dave Moffat. I'm the Provincial Marine Coordinator for the Ontario Provincial Police.
So what's going on here?
Well, what's going on here? It's been a very long 10 days, Steve. This is a commercial vessel training course. So we do training in Gravenhurst every year. We do a couple courses every year, which includes all of our municipal partners down south. We do some First Nations, but this is a First Nations course, and it's a pretty special course that we've come to them. We've trailered 9 boats up Highway 17 for 22 hours to come and do this course for the First Nations communities. And the response we get from the communities has been amazing, and they are so appreciative that we have come to their land, their waters, and give them that extra experience of working on Lake of the Woods, so that they know where the hazards are and they know how to properly operate these commercial vessels.
Hi, James Lyman here from the Essex County Detachment. I'm one of the instructors on the course. Fortunate enough to come here and get to assist with training a lot of the First Nations police officers from a lot of northern communities across Ontario.
Hi, I'm Brent Adams. I'm a constable with Treaty 3 Police, based out of Kenora.
If you had to pick one thing, what would be the biggest thing you learned?
Probably some of the operations that we did, some of the formations, like try to get as close to the instructor boats as we can, and just really fine tune and get comfortable with your speeds.
Like, to look at that from the outside, you get different various perspectives. We do it for a number of reasons, for throttle control, for steering. there will be times when these officers have to get within close proximity and out of their comfort zone to stop boats that don't want to stop and things like that. So we have to get them both familiar with the vessels and how they handle in different situations. So it gets the boat moving around in different waves, and reaction of that is what they need to learn, how the boat's going to react.
Originally, this training course was supposed to be all First Nations. So we have NAPS, we have Treaty 3 Police, we have Georgina Island, we have a variety of officers across the province. But you know, when you look at this lake, it's such a vast, the lake has so many challenges, and there's so many people that use this lake that we have actually invited some of the Kenora OPP officers here, as well as Dryden OPP officers, which is about an hour away.
Hi, my name is PC Chris Micklash, Dryden Detachment, Ontario Provincial Police. Oh, this experience was amazing. The training was unbelievable. The stuff that we did with the vessels, the drills, were amazing. Training was unreal. Coolest thing was night navigation and going through the pitch dark with your chart, your compass, and plotting your bearings. Quite enjoyed that. I never did anything close to that in my life. It was excellent.
So there's a couple bodies of water that I kind of put in the same category. One is Georgian Bay. I add Lake of the Woods to that because if you can navigate in Georgian Bay, navigate in Lake of the Woods, you can basically navigate anywhere. And it's not a matter of just jumping in your boat and going. There are markers everywhere. There are shoals. There are rules that you have to follow to get from point A to point B safely. So what I can ask is the people that come out on this lake that think, you know, it's a beautiful fishing lake, so a lot of vessels out here, but know what you're doing. You know, if you don't have navigation experience, then take a course. Get ready for the season, have a great season. This lake is absolutely incredible. And get home at night.
So Gussie can give all the info and tips about how to fish and drive your boat. But as far as a passenger goes, I did this as a demonstration on purpose, you see. That's why you always put things safely away, because at speed, if you take off your sweater, you might go for a little bit of a swim. But I did that 100% on purpose. And we're just gonna let it dry here for a minute, think about what it's done. Welcome to the wild world of fishing. No, sir.